Butch and Bob Show.
World famous Butch and Bob Show here on WIFO 105.5 FM in Jesup, Big Dog Country Radio. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning.
How's it going?
Good.
Good? Good?
Going good.
All right. You were over at the Jackie Johnson hearing yesterday over in Brunswick, and you reported on that. So what's the next step with that?
The trial.
The trial.
January 21st. But I guess the next step is Judge Turner has to rule on all those motions. The defense had several motions. The prosecutors had several motions. The judge didn't make any rule on any of the motions. He just listened to them and said he'd make a ruling sometime next week. So, but I want to be a prospective juror. Got to fill out a 30-page questionnaire.
30 pages.
It's like you got to write a book.
I know, my word.
They argued about 50 minutes.
Is that 20 page or 30 page?
30 page.
30 pages. It's going to be mailed to them.
Yeah, they argued about that for 15, 20 minutes. The defense wanted all the prospective jurors to come to the courthouse and fill them all out because the judge said, what's going to happen is they're going to mail them out, and when they show up to court for jury selection, that half of them aren't going to fill out the entire thing, and they're going to have to spend time getting all that done. So it's just going to be interesting to see how the jury. But it's interesting that prosecutors do not want any of her record as a prosecutor entered. They don't think that's relevant. So the defense is arguing about that and saying she was a successful prosecutor, won 2 elections, and had a great conviction rate. So they're trying to exclude her record as a prosecutor in the record. So it'll be interesting how it all plays out. But the defense made a good point and said that she was involved in, prosecuting and indicting the former police chief in Glenn County when all this took place, when the officer that she was tied up at the grand jury doing that she wasn't involved with the Alma Albury situation at all. So
she gave that over to another
she recused herself.
Yeah.
Well, the biggest surprise was the defense said they're going to call Attorney General Chris Carr because apparently Jackie Johnson called the Attorney General's office to find out how they're supposed to handle all that stuff, and they took all their instructions from the Attorney General's office. So they're the ones prosecuting her. So they're saying if she violated a policy, what policy did she violate, that they want Chris Carr to come testify and explain what policy she violated, because they can't figure out why they're even prosecuting this case. So it'll be interesting to see if they, that caught the prosecuting team totally by surprise. They made some big speech about how a high-ranking official is not required to testify in a case. So the judge says he'll take that under advisement and make a ruling on that. So that'll be the most interesting ruling by the judge, whether or not he'll allow Chris Carr to be called as a witness in this case. So, but the defense says, he's the one prosecuting the case. He's saying she violated her oath. They want to know what did she violate.
Yeah, the Attorney General's office is the one who's prosecuting this. Nobody locally. It's the Attorney General office where Chris Carr is spearheading this up with his attorneys and to prosecute this case. And like you said, Jackie had already called the Attorney General's office when all this happened to find out how she should proceed.
That's what they, but apparently from the prosecutors, all those people that were in that office at the time, the Attorney General's office, they're all retired or gone. So I don't know how it's going to work out. It's going to be interesting, but it's all set for January 21st in the Glenn County Courthouse. So we'll see how it all plays out. But I wouldn't want to be a prospective juror filling out a 30-page question.
I hate filling out. I hate filling out forms. I mean, that's one of the things that give me the greatest anxiety is filling out forms.
I just love to see one of those questionnaires. I mean, what are they asking? 30 pages? I mean, good.
30 pages?
That takes forever to fill out. It's like you got to write a book. I mean, what are they asking those
You mean to tell me that everybody? I mean, you got to send out a ton of them.
Right.
A ton of them.
Right.
Okay.
There's probably
how many of these? How many do you think of these things going to get thrown in file 13?
Well, that's what the judge said. The judge says. The judge says, you know what the issue is going to be. They're going to show up for jury selection, and half of them either didn't fill it out, or they only filled out half of them. So they're going to spend, how knows how much time getting them to fill out the rest of the form. So I don't know. But that was the big argument. I mean, they argued back and forth. The defense definitely wanted them to come in to the courthouse one day and fill them out and have them all filled out. But the judge says we're not doing that. The judge says we're just mailing them out. It is what it is.
Have you ever heard that before, where questionnaires have been sent out like that?
I don't recall.
Especially when it's 30 pages long.
I don't recall that. I don't. I don't ever
remember you reporting on it.
I mean, it was news. I just was sitting there shaking my head saying, I don't want to be a prospective juror. It's about a 30-page questionnaire.
Yeah, bring it in and say, forever. Give me somebody to help me fill this out. What am I supposed to,
Let's see. What am I going to do on New Year's Day? I'm not going to watch that ball get back. I got to fill out this questionnaire. The heck with Georgia and the sheriff. I got to fill out this questionnaire.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, he's probably going to file 13. So I don't know.
Yes, sir.
But that was the big argument, how they're going to do it. But the judge, he was adamant. The judge says, no, we're not bringing
the folks in.
No, we're
mailing out. Let them bring them in with them.
Right, mail those things out
But when will the jury start coming in? When will they start doing that?
That 21st. They'll show up the 21st.
Oh, because the trial doesn't start then. Right. That jury selection begins on the 21st. Jury selection begins on the 21st. And we don't know how long that's going to take.
Right, don't know how long that's going to take. All right. They're saying the trial's going to last 2.5 weeks. I was shocked about that. I mean, I was like, they have that many witnesses. I mean, a 2.5-week trial.
Well, you got both sides. You got both sides that are going to present stuff. And
that's what they're anticipating. They're anticipating a 2.5-week trial is what they're saying. And that came from both the prosecutors and the defense. So that's the timeline. But jury selection is set for January 21st, but we'll see how many of those jurors fill out that 30-page questionnaire when they get there. So.
Oh, boy. It's hard to understand this whole situation right here, and it's going to be interesting to see how it moves forward and all the evidence that's going to be presented there in court.
George Barnhill's name was mentioned a lot, so I'm sure he'll probably be, like I said, and that's what Jackie Johnson's team says, that she recused herself from the case altogether.
She recused herself from it.
Sent to George Barnhill. George Barnhill made a ruling it was self-defense, and then the video came out 2 weeks later, and the rest is history. But so without that video, I don't know if they even got a case. So that's the question. Why did that guy hold on to that video? Why didn't he just throw that thing in the Altamar River or off the Sidney Lynn Bridge?
What I understand from some folks that live over there, they did that because they wanted to show the fact that it was a self-defense type of thing. Where they followed the gun and it went off and that kind of stuff like that. So they really thought it would help them, which it didn't.
That's why they held it on to.
Yeah, and so that's the reason why they did that. And but it's a sad situation for everyone. Just sad. You don't confront somebody in your neighborhood with a gun. You don't do that. If you see somebody in the neighborhood that you think is up there to no good, you call the police. I don't care if you were involved in some sort of law enforcement. You call the police and let them handle it. And especially if you don't see him or her, whatever the case may be, destroying anything, carrying anything, or anything like that.
Yeah. I watched that trial from gavel to gavel, and like I said, those McMichael guys, they got what they deserved. They were vigilantes, chasing them down.
You don't do that.
But that poor guy that was just a nosy neighbor and filmed it and had the video. The fact that he's in life without parole,
he gets a chance out.
Oh, that's right.
The father and son are there for forever, practically, but he gets out. He has a chance to get for parole. It's way down the line.
Yeah, it just seems like.
For video,
he helped him more than like I said. Without the video, I don't even think I got a case. So I just think he got the shaft watching the trial. So I mean, he just didn't seem like he had much to do with it. He was just nosy and just
nosy and videoed.
Yeah,
but he did. Yeah,
but it cost him dearly.
Dearly, yeah. So you got the Aubrey, of course, which is a victim. You got the people who are in prison right now. They did something they were not supposed to do. You've got the neighbor who was just a nosy neighbor. He's in prison right now. You got Jackie involved in this mess, and the state attorney general's office prosecuting her. It's going to be interesting to see what kind of evidence they have. But you know how these things go in court. You listen to one side and you think, man, that person is guilty as I don't know what. Then you listen to the defense and you say, no, I don't think they're guilty. I don't think they did what they said. And then as a juror, you got to sit there in the jury room and make your decision.
It'll be in the hands of the jury once But like I said, I'll say it again. I would not want to be a prospective juror having to fill out a 30-page questionnaire.
I would
involved in that. So.
I would have anxiety big time because I hate filling out forms. I mean, just I don't know what it is. It's just part of me. I just hate doing it.
I'd just like to see a copy of it just to see what I was asked. I mean, 30. I mean, they must be asking a lot for 30 pages.
I know 30 pages of and how many people are not going to be influenced by people who know them and around them, family members, friends, spouses, and stuff like that are going to help them fill it out and stuff like that. How honest is each what I'm going to be? It's like I said, it's going to be interesting when the court case finally begins to see the evidence from both sides. We know what one side is. Yeah, we know what, here at the station, we know what one side is. It's going to be interesting to see the Attorney General's side.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting if the judge lets the Attorney General be a witness.
So if Jackie requested his advice on how to proceed with the case, and now she's getting prosecuted, like I said, it's going to be an interesting situation, and I just feel everybody involved with this it's just destroyed so many lives.
It'd be interesting.
Okay. You mentioned about the Army-Navy game this Saturday, right?
This Saturday, 3 o'clock.
It's always the week after everything ends. So it's like a single-only game there. Where's it being played?
At the Washington Commanders.
That's right. It's going to be played in Washington, D.C., where the Commanders play, formerly Redskins.
In Maryland.
In Maryland. Yeah.
Always a good game. And I said Jeff Monken his name was tied to possibly going to North Carolina, but now that Bill Belichick has taken the job, so he'll mostly stay at Army. So I'm still shocked that Bill Belichick took that job. I mean, I just can't see.
I can't wait to see what Terry and Howie and Jimmy and all them have to say about it Sunday, because they were all adamant, especially Tom Brady, about it, that they said that he should not be going to college.
I'm just shocked. Like I said, he's like 13 games away from passing Don Shula's record for most wins, and I thought that was the record he wanted. I thought for sure I thought for sure.
But nobody's offered him a job, and he wants to work.
And that's what's the most shocking thing. Like so, some of these NFL insiders, they were asked this past Sunday, and they said that there's all these openings taking place this year, but not one NFL team has reached out to talk to Belichick, which just shocked me. But like I said, the Falcons talked to him, before they hired Raheem Morris, last year. But and everybody thought he might go to, I thought that Arthur Blank might want Belichick. I mean, the guy has 6 Super Bowl championship trophies on his shelf. He's got a nice resume, but apparently a lot of people are like a lot of other NFL people. They think that most of those trophies have to do more with Brady than they do Belichick. So that was always the debate. Was it Belichick or Brady?
Well, there's been a lot of teams out there who have had fantastic quarterbacks. Dan Marino. You could take somebody that never won a Super Bowl. And Bill won 6 of them. Yeah, and then he won 2 as an assistant somewhere else, didn't he?
He won an assistant. It was with the Giants when they won.
Yeah, I think he won 2 as an assistant. He's got 8 rings. And so it'll be interesting to see, it'll really be interesting to see how he does. But, his girlfriend wanted him to go there. And what does he do? What does girlfriend want him to do?
I just can't wait to see the first. I'd like to be at the first alumni meeting when he walks in there and he mumbles.
Dan Patrick does a great imitation of Bill Belichick. Absolutely great imitation.
Yeah, you can't understand a word he says.
No.
Press con,
Someone just texted in that has received this 30-page form.
They got a form already?
They got a form already. And it says that form, long and in-depth.
I guarantee
long and in-depth. They've already got the form. Don't know if they filled it out yet, but they say it's long and in-depth.
I promise you. I imagine it is.
Yeah, long and in-depth for that trial there.
Well, the good news, you get to fill it out at home. You don't have to go to the courthouse.
You don't have to go to the courthouse. It's like when I go into a doctor's office, especially for the first time, and you got this forms you got to fill out there. I'm almost sweating my hands. I hate filling out forms. I don't know why. I don't know. I just do.
I just have to agree with the judge. That'd be a circus bringing
all that would be a circus. But just how well will it be, filled out by folks before they come in?
The judge was adamant. He said, "We're not doing that. We're not bringing those people down here." He said, "We're going to roll the dice. Hope they fill it out. Hope they follow the instructions and mail it back in, or bring it back in when they come to court." I guess they bring it with them when they bring it to court. So, but I said that was one of the big arguments in court yesterday.
Yeah. About the Army-Navy. Every time I think about the Army-Navy game when it comes up each year, I think about MASH. Because the TV series MASH, during all the years it was on, from 72 all the way to 83, ever so often, on the weekend of the Army-Navy game, they would have that during the MASH program, they would talk about the Army-Navy game. They're trying to pick it up on radio. They're over there in South Korea, and they're trying to pick it up. It's usually freezing cold over there with it, and you've got them wanting Army to win because they're all in the Army MASH unit there. So when they say Army-Navy, I think about the cold weather in South Korea during the Korean War because of MASH.
People have been to the game said that's definitely something you got to put on your bucket list. I say it's all the tradition, all the, it's just a great game to be at. I got a friend of mine in Brunswick. That's what he's doing this year. He's going to the Army-Navy game because he's all excited about that. So, like I said, great traditional game. Always fun to watch.
Tradition.
So,
yeah, and it should be a really good game this year. Yeah.
I think Army's favored by a touchdown. So, but I'm sure Army fans are glad that Jeff Monken's staying because he's a good football coach. But his name was linked to possibly going to North Carolina. But it's funny, they fired a 73-year-old coach and hired a 72-year-old coach. So I guess the requirement to be a North Carolina coach, you got to be 70 or above.
I'm thinking about I'm 70 years old, and I think about my energy level at 70. And I'm thinking 2 years from now I'm 72. To be able to go out there because that's a lot of physical work. Our job is not that physically demanding. Yeah. All right. But to go out there and do what he's going to have to do, the recruiting, the booster club meetings you have to do, all the everything that you've got to do to put it together is a lot of energy. You got to put out a lot of energy. But of course, he's dating a 24-year-old girl, so he's got the energy.
That's what I'm saying. Just go find you a 24-year-old girl, you get all kinds of energy. But she calls him Grandpa.
She calls him Grandpa. No, you got to be kidding me. No.
That's a fact. That's her nickname for him. She calls him
Grandpa.
That's what they said yesterday on the radio.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. She calls him Grandpa. So I bet that's fun. Got on a date and your girlfriend's calling you Grandpa. How's that work?
Yeah. Don't call me Daddy. Yeah, just call me Daddy. No, I'm going to call you Grandpa.
Grandpa. That's her nickname. That's her nickname for him.
Well, he's old enough to be a grandpa.
He probably is a grandpa.
He is a granddad.
That's what I'm saying. He's got several grandkids.
They always say it's pretty bad when your dad divorced and he dates someone that's younger than you. Whatever, we're younger than the grandkids. That's pretty bad.
I'm still shocked. I really thought he was going. I'm surprised Jacksonville wasn't out there looking for him. I said,
yeah, me too.
Jacksonville's looking for a coach. I said, and Belichick's a guy that wants control. And I said,
they tried that one time.
The Collins don't, they don't get involved. They let the coach pretty much do what he wants to do. So I thought Jacksonville would be a nice landing spot for Bill Belichick, but. Like I said, the NFL insiders say not one NFL team reached out to him. So
not one. So you take what you can get. He wants to coach, and if the NFL don't want him, he'll go to college.
He must know something we don't know, but
Well, they said they explained everything to him in all the meetings, how NIL works, booster clubs, and he's done to deal with a lot of stuff he's never dealt with before, ever.
I just don't see him. I just don't see it lasting.
I can't wait. I can't wait to NFL Sunday, Fox NFL Sunday.
Can't wait to the first game of the season, see how it pans out. So.
Yeah. Well, someone texted in. It says, "Mr. Butch, you're not the only one that doesn't like to fill out and sign papers. This one says, because I don't really like to fill out and sign papers, but I'm guessing that there's probably a lot of people don't like to fill out and sign papers."
Yeah, and the judge said that's probably going to be the issue. He said, when they show up, half of them are going to
they won't know what to put.
Halfway filled out, or they didn't fill it out, so they're going to have to wait and see them fill out the rest of the form.
I mean, can a juror serve if if he or she hasn't filled it out completely? And do you pick and select there? Well, I didn't fill this out because I didn't want to answer this, do that, whatever the case may be. And do the jurors become villains because they haven't filled out a form that they really didn't want to fill out in the first place?
Well, my takeaway, the judge says when they show up, if they haven't filled out the form, they're going to go make them fill it out. So, I mean, they have to fill it out so they can, get a prospective juror. So we'll see how it plays out. But that's all set for January 21st in Glenn County.
Okay. It'll be interesting to see how the judge rules on
all those motions.
All those motions, and especially does Chris Carr have to come to the trial and testify?
The prosecutors say that he's immune from that he doesn't need somebody.
What law do they say?
They cited a law.
They cited a law.
They had all kinds of arguments saying that he's that that's not going to take place. But the judge said he'd take it under advisement. He'd make a ruling this week.
Well, he's going to have to do all the, he'll do a lot of research and try to make sure he rules the correct way. All right. What else is going on, Bob? Anything else?
I said Heisman Trophy this weekend. I said everybody thinks it's going to go to Travis Hunter from Colorado. So
what position?
He plays both. He plays offense. Yeah, he plays both offense and defense. So most of them, I'm still trying to shake my head. How did Jalen Walker get the Butkus Award? He's the best linebacker in the country, but he's not the best linebacker in the SEC.
Now, say the guy's name again.
Jalen Walker.
Now, he is a linebacker for Georgia,
right?
And he was selected as
he's awarded the Butkus Award.
The Butkus Award is the best linebacker in the nation.
Remember Dick Butkus?
Right, I know Dick. I know what it's all about.
It's named after Dick Butkus, the great linebacker to play for Chicago Bears.
Right.
That's what it's named after. It goes to the best linebacker in the country.
In the country.
But he wasn't the best linebacker in the SEC.
He got second team.
Second team.
Here he is selected nationwide as the best linebacker in the nation. And he's second team SEC. How does that work?
That's what somebody needs to explain that to me.
Explain that to me.
How are you the best linebacker in the country, but you're not the best linebacker in your conference? I don't
the people who voting, Bob. The people who voting.
But congratulations to him. I mean, that's the third Butkus Award winner under Kirby Smart's regime. Like I said, Roquan Smith won it. He's in the NFL, and Nakobe Dean, he's playing for Philadelphia. He won it. So this is the third linebacker for Kirby's.
So we're going from running back U to linebacker U.
Well,
that's what Penn State was known for many years.
That's the third linebacker that's won the Butkus Award. That's pretty impressive.
That's pretty impressive. Yeah. That's a tough position right there, that linebacker.
Yeah. He's a good one.
Yep. All right, Bob. Have a good day. All right, the world-famous Butch and Bob Show here on WIFO 105.5 FM in Jesup. And it's been brought to you by O.C. Welch Ford in Hardyville. Also brought to you by Murphy Builder Supply, First Southern Bank, and the Service Department at GNS Auto Sales.